Hey guys, you're welcome again to my channel. This is your girl Favour, and if this is your first time seeing my face or coming across any of my videos, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notifications whenever I post new videos. To my returning subscribers, thank you very much for always returning. So today we have quite an interesting topic. So today I'm going to be discussing lessons that I've learned from the Queen Esther of the Bible. So we have all heard her story. It's a story that you cannot miss in the children's Bible now. But I've learned quite a lot of things from that lady, from the Queen herself. So I came here today to share with you some of the lessons that I have learned from her. So, first of all, before I get to the lessons that I've learned from Queen Esther, I'd like to give a backstory. So, while we were growing up, one of the times we come back from village, my dad, brought up something. He was like, "Do you know a book in the Bible where God was not mentioned? Like you can't find God?" And we were like, "It's not possible." He said there is, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to give X amount of money to whoever finds first, whoever is the first to find out the book of the Bible that does not have the word or the name God on it." So of course, now challenge, he has put money to it, and apart from the money, wanted to be, you want to be the first to find it. And the fact that it's Bible, is the Bible, and God is not in that book, how possible is it? So when that was actually the first time that I actually read the book of Esther, because we heard the story in children's church and all that, but I hadn't really taken time to read the book for myself. So started from Genesis to find the book. Once you find God, that's how I searched once I found God in the book, I skipped the next book until I got to Esther. I kept going, I didn't find God. I was like, this is the Bible and there's no God in it. So until the end of the book, I didn't find God, and that was how I won the challenge, because I was the first to report that it was the book of Esther. So after the whole thing, I had to go back to actually read the book of Esther, and since then I've actually read it countless times. But as I was growing and reading it, I've learned quite a lot of lessons from the Queen Esther, and today, like I said, I'm sharing some of them with you. Yes, I have a nice maker in the house, if you can hear her voice. Okay, so I'm going to go straight to the lessons that I've learned. Some of the lessons, I might not be mentioning all, but I'm going to mention some of them that I've learned from her. So the first lesson I learned from Queen Esther is obedience. Yes, we have learned obedience also from other characters in the Bible, but hers is I don't know, there's how hers actually hits me, because this is a young lady that is living with her uncle, and she's told not to disclose some kind of information, and she keeps to it. But I'm coming. Not just her uncle, the king's advisor. This is a lady that has found favor. So yes, she has found favor, but she still remembered the place of obedience. She obeyed her uncle. She obeyed the king's advisor, followed the instructions that she was given by these two men. But it doesn't stop there. So even after she had gotten married to the king, she still didn't disclose where she was from, because that was the instruction from her uncle. Don't disclose who you are, where you are from. She could have been like, yeah, I've already gotten married to the king, what can happen? He already loves me, so he can't do anything about it. But she still didn't mention it, because she was following instruction, and that instruction paid off in the long run. It didn't only save her, it saved a nation. See what obedience does. If you say you want to grow, if you say you want to succeed, there is always a place of obedience, and she displayed it. And in the world today, everybody thinks they know best. I know, like, yeah, I know what suits me. I know how best to handle myself. I know how best to handle things that concerns me and all that. But see, whether you like it or not, there's still a place for obedience, and this is a virtue that is really lacking in the world today. So, like, I hope these things that I'm sharing would also help someone. The next lesson I learned from her was respect. So she's no longer the young girl, the ordinary young girl. She has now become the queen, but she still respected this uncle of hers. She didn't just be like, nah, he's a gate man. Like, I'm the queen, I say what will happen, I say who does what, and she still respected her uncle. She still had that reverence, if I'm to use the word, for this man, even though he was still a gate man, even though he was his level, so to say, was below her. But yes, she has gotten to that height of a queen. She did not forget her roots. She did not forget where she was coming from. She did not disregard this man just because she's now a queen. And respect, like in one of my previous videos, respect is something that is really, really lacking in the world today. So, like, you get respect, not just respecting yourself, but respect for others, you know. So another thing I learned from Queen Esther was the fact that she had an understanding of laws, the laws that were governing where she was. Everywhere you find yourself, like at every stage in life, at every place you find yourself, there are always governing laws. And if you do not understand the laws that govern where you are or at the level that you are in, you will not be able to maximize the benefits of that level or that place. You might even like put yourself in danger because you do not know the things you're supposed to do and the things you're not supposed to do. And sometimes it's not just about having a knowledge of the laws or an understanding of the laws. It's also about keeping them, because a lot of us have head knowledge of laws but we don't keep them. She had an understanding of the laws that were governing where she was, and she kept to them. That's actually the main point, keeping to the laws that she has known that are governing where she was in. Because if she didn't know and she did not keep to them, she could have lost her life like that. Seriously. Yeah, she kind of broke the law, but she didn't just like, no, she now had to go through some things to spiritually break the laws before she could, you know now, physically, because the spiritual controls the physical. And I'm not going into that today. The next thing I learned from her was the fact that she was compassionate. So she's a queen now. She may not necessarily be she's an Israelite, yes, the king does not know at this point, but she still felt the pain of her people, even though if anything were to happen to them, it would not happen to her, because she has been removed from them, so to say, by marriage. But she was compassionate when she was told about, like, you know, when she was told of what was going to happen to the Israelites, she was grieved. Many of us, once we feel like we have been elevated above this level, people that are now on that level that we moved from, we distance ourselves from them. Where is compassion in the world today? Like, we are all always about ourselves, but compassion for others is still very necessary. If we want a change in the world that we live in, if we want a change in our society, we must be compassionate, because it is compassion that drives people to make a change. It is compassion. So it must not necessarily be happening to you for you to make a change in that area. It must not touch you, because to us, until it touches us, before we actually move to action or move to act. No, you don't have to wait till it happens to you. And that's something I learned from her. Whatever that would have happened to the Israelites wouldn't have happened to her. But she was grieved, and it didn't just end there. She took a step to make things change. But if she was not compassionate, if she was not compassionate about these people, trust me, she wouldn't have done the things she did, or she wouldn't have let herself be used by God to make the change. And we wouldn't have known her today, because that we know her today is because of what God used her to do in the life of the Israelites. Another lesson that I learned from her was the fact that she was very tactful, like strategic. See how everything panned out. She didn't just like jump into it and be like, this man wants to kill my people. She was strategic about it. So she planned a banquet, invited her husband, and this man that wants to kill her people, can you imagine? And gisting and laughing with them, and even invited them to the second round of the banquet. Like, she was very, very strategic. Every battle that we fight has a strategy to it. It's not the strategy you used in the battle that you fought yesterday that you use in today's battle. Every battle has its own set of unique strategies. That is why for everything, for every challenge you face in life, you must ask God for strategies to overcome them, because it can't be the same. The fact that she was strategic, I asked myself, if it were you, what would you have done? I might have been like, from that first day, like, I won't even invite him. It's just going to be me and the king. Do you know this man? Do you know what this man is planning to do to my people? You get? But yes, she knew the time was drawing near, but she took her time and planned and strategized and got to this man. Like, she be queen. The last but not the least lesson that I learned from her was the fact that she was not hasty, and she had an understanding of timing. Timing, they say, is everything. One of the lessons that I learned from my parents is that it's not everything. Like there are some things you say at some times, and you can't say at some times because it can be detrimental to you. They might not necessarily be bad, but because of the time that you said or made mention of them, it becomes detrimental to you. And trust me, I have had that experience a lot of times. So she knew when to carry out her plan. She has planned. So it's not enough to plan, it's not enough to strategize. You also must know timing. You also must know when to carry out your plan. So she took her time. She didn't jump into it. She took her time, planned her plans. What am I even speaking? Planned her plans. God. Planned out her actions, and then knew the times to do what she's supposed to do. She knew when to meet the king and how to dress to meet the king. Did you read that place? Like, she know it. She knew her husband and how to get him. Timing. Do you understand? So I hope that these few things I've mentioned have also, that if there are other things you have learned, like I said, these are not just all. If there are other things I might have missed, please make sure to leave in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure to like and share it. So with that, we've come to the end of this video. Until next time, see you.